You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 11th, 2022 meeting of the LaPorte County Drainage Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't know if I can stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Joe Cuson.
Here.
Hugh Glasgow.
here.
Sarah Hefner.
Here.
Tony Hendricks.
Here.
Rich Mozinski.
Present.
Steve Mozinski.
Here.
Brad is joining us by Zoom. And
I am here.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve last month's minutes?
Supposed to approve as presented.
Do I have a second? Second. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, we'll go into the right arm of Forbes Ditch vacation public hearing. So go ahead and, you want me to read this first?
okay, so we did advertise for the legal ad in the paper, so that's good to go. And then does Tony want to read the surveyor's report? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Tony's going to read our surveyor's report.
This is surveyor's report for the vacation of the right arm of Forbes Ditch located in section 19, township 36 north, range 4 west, New Durham Township, LaPorte County, Indiana. October 2022. According to Indiana Code 36-9-24-34 and 36-9-27-37, the above. The surveyor's report of the vacation of the right arm of the Forbes Ditch is as follows. The proposed length of the ditch is to be vacated is 2,749.64 feet and located north of the section line in section 19. The watershed contains 125 parcels of land. The name and address of each landowner that will be affected by the proposed vacation and the legal description, the land of each owner are accompanying this report. The surveyor has determined that the drain does not perform the function for which it is designed in construction. The expense of construction outweighs the benefits of reconstruction, and the vacation will not be detrimental to the public welfare. Attached, there's the report for the landowners and the attached map for the record. With that, we'll see public comment.
Public comment.
I don't understand the legal term.
Will you come up to the mic right here and say your name?
Well, wait, maybe the board should, a little bit information. So this is a public drain that is not assessed. It is a legal drain, but it doesn't have any money. There's no assessment, so you're not getting billed for the maintenance or the reconstruction if need be. The County Parks Department has entered an agreement with the DNR, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, and they have a grant to maintain this, reconstruct this, and keep it working. So from now until the future. So you won't be charged any money or maintenance in the now or in the future because they are going to take control and ownership, maintenance, and reconstruction with their funds. So they will not impact and change the drain. They will not cut people off. They will actually enhance the drain, and they will pay for the drain. They will maintain the drain. They will fix the drain. So this is the vacation of the drain to give this to the Parks Department of LaPorte County. So the LaPorte County will still have jurisdiction maintenance of the drain just through the Parks Department, not through the Drainage Board, and they will pay for everything. So if you have any questions, we can leave it public open.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Like, come up and
When are they gonna start? I mean, are they gonna dredge it?
They're going to dredge it, channelize it, change it so it's more environmentally friendly with some wetlands and some bank stabilization and some changes in the bank. And I don't know if the LaPorte County Parks Department is here. It's a really nice environmental project endorsed by the DNR and environmentalists.
Tony,
Yes,
we got.
there you go.
I am. This is Jeremy from the Parks Department. Yeah, so this would be like Tony said, they're gonna they're doing some wetland wetland mitigation project. So this would enhance the wetland that's the couple of wetlands that are next to the property, and then take that legal drain and make it restore it back to its natural flow instead of a ditch, basically. So it would be, like you said, more environmentally friendly. But yeah, this is through the DNR. They would be basically doing all of the work and financing the whole thing.
A quick note there, Jeremy. So, for everyone's knowledge, there are projects that go on in the state of Indiana, and they need some wetland mitigation. And we're going to receive those. We're not reducing wetlands. We're going to gain some wetlands because they need to have wetlands somewhere else, and we are going to get those in our ditch to return this back to more of its natural state. Right, Jeremy?
That's correct, Tony. This is funds that contractors and developers pay into the DNR now, instead of just doing projects on their own, or being required to do projects. So the DNR collects that money and then puts it back into areas or counties that have those projects going on, and where that money comes from. So.
And where would it start?
Need to come to the microphone so
Come
we
to
get
the
the
mic
home
so we can
viewers.
hear you, so the home viewers can hear.
And also, anybody that comes to the microphone should identify themselves so it's part of the minutes.
Okay. Identify your name before you start, please.
Doug Salyer. Where would this start at? Like on Windmill?
Where would it start?
Yes. And where?
It's so you know where Bloom County Park is on
Yes.
It would basically be approximately, if this is a 2,000 some foot project, there's probably 1,000 foot of it would be essentially it's all along our property right now.
Tony.
It doesn't go past where our property ends.
Yeah, Tony's shown a map to them, so
Yeah.
it's,
If this all works out, and this is not a done deal as far as the land acquisition, there is some land acquisition in there. Some of that land, the ditch runs through our property pretty much the whole way there. And we would acquire about 40 acres of land that's basically some wetlands and a little bit of farm field. And then the stream would actually meander through our property more than it does just a straight ditch.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yep, come to the mic and say your name and.
Hi, my name is Dennis Clausen, and we live on County Line Road. The backside, the east side of our property, we have about 500 feet that runs along the ditch. And looking at property lines and whatnot, I think maybe our property meanders across the ditch east, then back west, east and west. And the fellow that owned the property before us, he had a backhoe. He maintained that 550 feet really well. It flows really well there. And I have too. I've only been there about 5 years. But my question is, so with the Parks Department taking over, can we expect tree trimmers, excavators, dozers? How are you planning on cleaning this ditch out behind my property? What is the plan? Is that what you expect? A D9 dozer coming through there, taking the trees out, and then excavating 15 feet wide at the top, 7 foot deep? What do we look?
The only part that's being vacated, I believe, is just on the park land. So, it's not going to be beyond that, because the ditch, I believe, starts right where our park land is. Is that right, Tony? And then, so this would just be vacating the very upper end of that legal drain, I think.
Now, my understanding is this starts actually north of 300, this ditch.
Yeah, the ditch might, but the ditch might start north of 300, but the legal ditch that we maintain is only at the park department, so we can't go.
Just in the Bloom Park.
Yeah, we can't go past the park department property.
Okay, so there's no plans to do anything
No.
upstream from the park?
Nope.
That's my question.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know, am I gonna lose the whole back end of my property and the wildlife?
No, that's not a legal drain, and we don't, and neither will the park department have jurisdiction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
we
was a
would-
big concern of mine.
We would consider that ditch private and any maintenance, we would consider that ditch private, so any maintenance that would be done, you would do yourself as the landowner.
Because I never saw any right of ways or easements on the property description when we purchased it, so, okay.
Yep.
So I'll just maintain it as I've been and
Yep.
no worries then.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
I don't think there's anyone on Zoom.
Anyone on Zoom?
I don't see anybody. Okay.
Okay,
I have a question,
sure.
George Bean. Maybe I missed, I have a question about the level of the lake.
That's another agenda item.
We're not talking about the lake right now. That's another agenda item.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, go on.
If you're good with the passing, then the board would need to make a motion to finalize the vacation of the drain.
And I guess, Brad, close public discussion, public comment, and ask
Yeah,
for
close
action.
close public comment first and then make a motion to approve.
Okay. So seeing there's no more public comment, the public comment we closed. Now we'll need a motion from the board to approve this in a second.
I move to approve
Yeah,
the
fine.
vacation of the drain we discussed.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second it.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion? Any more discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed.
Do you have an ordinance, Christine, or something for something to be read on that?
Yes, so
Yeah,
Tony's
she
gonna
has.
read the findings in order.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's gonna read the findings in order.
For the chairman, findings in order of LaPorte County Drainage Board regarding the vacation of a portion of the right arm of the Forbes Ditch located in Section 19, Township 36 North, Range 4 West, New Durham Township, LaPorte County, Indiana. LaPorte County Drainage Board did on October 11, 2022 conduct a public hearing relative to Indiana Code Title 36 in response to the surveyor's report concerning the right arm of the Forbes Ditch. After reviewing said report and upon conclusion, all discussion and hearing all remonstrators, the board has found and determined the following. The notice of the hearing was properly given in accordance with Indiana Code Title 36. That the public hearing was held on October 11, 2022 by LaPorte County Drainage Board for the purposes of determining one, to review and consider the LaPorte County Surveyor's report issued concerning said drain, and two, to vacate said drain. That the said public hearing of October 11, 2022, a public comment was requested, received, and duly considered by the LaPorte County Drainage Board concerning the LaPorte County Surveyor's report issued concerning said drain and the vacation of said drain. That the LaPorte County Surveyor's report was proper and that the said report be and hereby is approved and accepted as submitted. That the drain does not perform the function for which it was designed and constructed. That the expense of reconstruction outweighs the benefits of reconstruction. That the vacation will not be detrimental to the public welfare. It is therefore ordered by the LaPorte County Drainage Board this 11th day of October 2022 that the LaPorte County Surveyor's report and recommendations contained therein for vacation are hereby approved, all of which is ordered this 11th day of October 2022. And the motion I would believe would be Steve Mrozinski as chairman would be the motion to sign this as the chairman of the Drainage Board.
And motion to adopt the findings as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion, and do we have a second? We have a second for me to sign this and
For an
document.
adoption.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And officially adjourn the public hearing.
Yes, do I have a motion to
Motion
adjourn?
to adjourn the public hearing.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is closed. Okay,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay, we will move on to monthly reports. We'll start with Hudson Lake.
Georgette Joyce, 7299 East Hudson Point Lane, New Carlisle. So I think, as a lot of you have seen in my last email update, I don't have all your emails, but I have a lot of them. At our last meeting, the board approved a motion so that we could work with the DNR to service the drain and the valve. And by the end of that very week, we actually were able to hand in a service order to the DNR to get permission from them to service the drain. By that Monday, we actually had submitted it to them and they approved it. The very next day, we had a group out there that actually serviced the drain. And they did find that there was debris in the drain that kept it open. So they guessed that it was about 80% open. So the water that was flowing was indeed from the debris in the drain. And they were able to clear that all, service the drain. And their suggestion, and then they checked the very next day and the ditch was dry, so we know that it was definitely debris in the drain that was causing that to happen. And their suggestion was that we have an ongoing schedule where we manage that to check it out. So yay for us, in 8 days we went from your permission to actually getting a problem solved. So we're proud of that. And it exhibits too that we have commitment. We're showing in our actions and doing the process as well, getting your permission, working with the DNR, and doing the things that we should do. So the next things that we're going to be working on is figuring out a schedule to do ongoing service for the drain. And also we had the Hudson Lake Conservation Association had raised their hand, and any funding that was needed to do that service, they were going to cover. And everything was taken care of. So we want to monitor the ditch, and we also want to monitor Lakeshore Drive. Again, we understand that you guys are stretched, and we're willing to belly up to the bar with actions and reporting to you to show that, we're here, skin in the game to help manage the drain and the assets around the lake. We are focused on getting the equipment to measure the lake levels, and we have done fundraising, and we are within a couple $100 of actually doing the purchase, so yay. We had support from local marina, as well as some restaurants and people on the lake writing checks, and that the fundraising literally started September 12th, and here we are a month later, and we're within an inch of getting that. So happy about that. And the DNR is still drafting the agreement of that we would work with for the Hudson Lake Conservation Association to actually manage the drain. Now, as fast as I say that, I saw that there was an email from the DNR, Mr. Ryan Mueller, that went out to you guys, and there was some people who had expressed concern about the Lake Association actually managing the drain. And we had a meeting on the 12th, as I shared in the last session, that there was over 80 people there that we specifically asked the question, who is for this? And the crowd raised their hand. And I'm thinking, okay, there might be dissenters in there. So then we said, okay, well, let's change the question, who's against this? And no one said that they were against it. Now, after the meeting, I got a few emails from people who said that they had concerns, one, not a lot of information, just thought it was stupid. Another one, it really wasn't an email as much as us exchanging. So there's a gentleman who owns the property on both sides of the drain and has had concerns that people would trespass and he'd be liable and things like that. But I want you all to know we have been 100% respectful of that, and we have never breached his property or anything. And even with servicing the drain, we went through all the right channels to get permission to do that. We have no interest in not doing what's appropriate. So, we were looking to see as we're gaining the money to buy the equipment to measure the water on water levels, we were looking to where's the best place to put it, and someone says maybe the best place is right by the drain because it's a structure that's been there a long time. Well, we're like, well, okay, well, what does this gentleman who has property around it think? And he came back with a, whoa, I don't want anything else that might make people come to my property. And we responded, hey, well, we're going to look around because we want to start out this in a good way. We're not interested in making our heaven on earth a hell on earth for somebody, right? So I know that person had concerns, and then there was someone else who shared concerns. So I understand that he received these emails, but I want you to know that we've not done this without listening to people, without understanding their concerns, and we really care that we're doing this in the right manner. When the document from the DNR comes to us and, for us to sign, we have to really understand what we're getting into. There's no sense in creating another problem because we can't do the job, right? So my sharing is that we do have a lot of community behind us. Christine got a ton of phone calls, right? With regards to, the drain's still leaking and people are paying attention. And please know that the water level is extremely low. It's worse than last year. I mean, we have people who have mud fronts. They no longer have lake fronts. And I have a little bit of water because I was able to dredge a number of years ago, but my neighbors on either side are mud fronts. And I'm seeing islands now in front of me that I have not seen since 2005, when the water level went so severely low that we lost 40% of our water lake surface. And that's all documented in 2008 report. So this is not urban legend or things people making up. This is serious impact that's happening. And now, and I mentioned last meeting that we have an uninhabited island, and it used to have water flowing on the other side of it. In 2005, it all dried up. Well, now we have things growing on the lake and algae forming where it never did because the water isn't flowing. Well, that's going to happen more and more as we allow these incidents to happen. So more water was left out of the lake and things like that. So my next ask for the Drainage Board is we're begging to be able to keep the drain closed, and so we can measure the water levels, so we could figure out what incidents happen when Mother Nature has its way with the lake, and to keep the level at the legal high, which is 18 inches above the weir. It's on the plaque, it's documented, at least through the spring, into the beginning of the summer, so we can make it through the summer. We have let water out, precious water, and you can't get it back once it happens. So my ask today to the board is for the control of the drain, opening and closing, that we are consulted with so we can have a good discussion. We could help manage that because we know we have a team that not only can service the drain and clear any debris, but is committed to do that within a period of time. And the motion is to ask that we work together and that we allow the lake to go up to the legal high. And and this is our interim.
Georgette, I apologize to cut in on you right here. I've got to jump off and go into court. But what I would suggest to the board, you voiced approval previously for this organization to move forward with the DNR to try to transfer authority over. We know that's what they're working on. I think you may want to hear additional public comment today, but that motion's already made. It's already been passed. Just encourage Georgette and her group to continue to work with the DNR, and until any authority is transferred, however it's transferred from the DNR, maintain status quo or continue to do as you have been doing, Christine. So I apologize. I've got to leave. I've got court. I will try to come back on after if the meeting's still going.
Is the lake presently above the weir right now?
Well, I didn't look at it today, but it was like an inch, or it might be below the weir now. I believe it is below the weir because I'm seeing like ground that I don't see. And I've been on the lake for 25 years.
Okay.
So I've been through the 2005 and I've been and these last 2 years have been scary because it just smacks of 2005 when we lost, droughts, really hurt lakes like this that are and that's why we're also working on dredging, and working with the DNR on that. So again, we're coming from every angle we could figure out.
As far as the surveyor's office and the drainage board, we're not changing or opening or closing that gate unless DNR and you have consulted. So we support you in every way, and just like the board has done prior, it's up to DNR, and if they open or close it, they'll ask us and they'll inform you. So we're 100% on your side. So it's up to DNR and
Okay.
about.
Right.
And again, I just want to make sure we've gone through each gate like we're supposed to, because
They'd like to hold it higher in the spring. We're all for it.
It's whatever the DNR
Whatever they
tells
want.
us.
Okay.
They're predicting a lot of snow this year, so
Pardon me?
Don't
they're
say
predicting
that.
a lot of snow this year.
Come on.
A foot of snow for an inch of rain.
But yeah, so as of right now, whatever the DNR says is what goes.
Okay. So we'll focus on that.
Maybe somebody on the Zoom knows if it's over the weir.
Yeah. Do we have a public comment?
Yep, this is E.G. Fisher. I'm one of the property owners right beside the drain, and it is pretty much right at the legal limit right now, right at the weir level.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have a comment on there?
I do have a comment more just on the lake level. I mean, we've been there since 2008, and we've seen it at the weir level, I would say, is probably back in 2012. Around the 2012, 2013, it was at the current level that it's at for several seasons. And I know that because we would put chairs out in the water, and right now it's still deeper than it is if we put those chairs in the water. So it's not back at the 2005 level. But the other thing is, I'm all for the lake definitely being consulted when the drain is open or closed, because I think it should be, and being one of those inputs. I am concerned. I was under the impression like responsibility was being transferred to the lake association, and I do worry there that you've got this private entity of just a few citizens who are ultimately making could be the decision holders on whether or not houses flood. If the lake is maintained at the legal high level, 18 inches, and I know that from when it's previously been there, there's not much room for in the event of big environmental change or Saugeen Lake releasing a bunch of water, a flash flood or whatever, that does get it into flooding zone. I know one of our properties, when it's just over 18 inches, the basement does flood. I know there are other properties like that. I also know when it's over 18 inches, there really isn't much of a public beach anymore at Hudson Lake. And a lot of the property owners who were not on the lake, who probably are not at those meetings, like to take advantage of that public beach. And so I would be, cautious about the goal is to keep it at the 18-inch level. I think it can be higher than where it currently is, but I think 1.5 feet higher as a minimum then you're just asking for the upswing of being in the flood stage. And that's kind of the reason why you've had that range between the current level and the 18 inches as like the target.
So the 18 inches is really about keeping the water in the spring to get you through the summer. You keep it at the legal high.
Right, but if you keep it at that legal high, and then you get a heavy June storm, you could get in a situation where you are flooding. And so that's where it's like, I'd just be cautious of using the word, we want to keep it at because I've seen copies saying that we want to keep it at the minimum legal high, at least 18 inches high. And that is very concerning as a property owner on the east side of the lake, as I think a lot of the east and north property owners would be concerned with that.
Yeah, that discussion will come with DNR, so they will
Correct.
work with you guys on.
And I really doubt that they would hand the drain over to us without, strict guidelines. That was never the expectation.
Yeah, that's a little misnomer whether they're going to hand it over. They wouldn't hand it over to us either. So
No, when I say that,
DNR is going to work with the elevation and level, and who opens or closes that gate is something DNR is talking about. And it's not a complete handover that they will decide when to open and close that gate. DNR will still have complete authority and jurisdiction, no matter who's doing it.
and that was our expectation. Just as you guys were the arm of them.
Yes.
That we would be the arm of them.
Yes.
And then there was concerns about financing and all that, but we've always known that there is no bucket of money, and the community would have to figure out, and probably through grants or whatever, if something happened that was severe, that we had to maintain the drain in some sort.
Yeah, again, it's DNR's drain.
DNR.
So this board doesn't pay for it either. So
No, I understand. That's what we talked about last meeting.
Do we have any more public comment on Hudson Lake? On the Zoom?
thought there was an individual there that,
I thought there was earlier
Yeah.
that got on. There was a
I see
gentleman
him,
that
but I
got
don't
on
see it.
earlier.
It's muted.
No, this is George B. I just wanted to comment on George's comments. I think you guys are doing the right thing in the right way, and I think we just need to move forward. Thank you very much. That was all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I have a comment.
Okay, state your name.
Joe Barsakowski. On the one comment that EG made about keeping it at 18 inches and trying to anticipate for rain or whatever, that's what got us into this trouble. The drain was opened in anticipation for spring rains. When we get rain, it's a lot easier to drain the lake than it is to fill it. I think keeping it at 16 to 18 inches would save us a lot of grief. That's all.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
I would like to comment. My name is Jim Torriello. I have a house on the lake, and I agree that it's a lot easier to let the water out than to keep it. And it's we've been watching the lake get lower and lower and lower. I mean, I put my pier in and took it out last week, and it was probably almost 1.5 feet lower than when I put it in the spring. And there is mud everywhere, and it is seems to be causing the algae and everything else to grow out of control because it's not being diluted and so forth. So I'm in favor of the DNR helping us to monitor that level and keep it as high as possible. But I understand it's not possible to keep everybody happy. The higher the better as far as I'm concerned. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
We have the owner at the outlet wants to put on record that he's going to drill a well for his property, and he just wants on the record today that the well is going to be outside the easement. So he does have a survey, he knows where the easement is for this, and just publicly you want to put on the record because he knows that there is a lot of discussion about the outlet and the easement, that he knows where it is, and if people see this well being drilled, that it is outside the easement for the outlet pipe. So just for the record, the owner north and adjacent to this is going to be drilling a new well, and he will be outside the easement.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else have any comments for Georgette? Okay.
Okay.
Just continue working
Thank
with
you.
DNR.
All right.
Okay. Seems Brad is off, correct? So we'll move on to the surveyor report.
No report. Thank you.
Joint boards. Do we have any joint board reports? Anyone?
Board County Board hasn't met in about 9 months. The surveyor resigned and we got a new surveyor, hoping to have a meeting next week.
Okay.
The Kankakee River Basin Commission's having a meeting on the 28th, on a full commission meeting, and I believe it's here in LaPorte, here at the library annex they just did. So the exchange
Library.
9:30.
It's Friday the 28th of October at 9:30 at the Library Exchange down on Michigan, Indiana.
Yes. Indiana, right on Indiana.
Yeah.
On Indiana. Okay. Anything else on joint boards? Claims?
There are no claims.
No claims. Public comment? Seems like all of our public comments have left.
Dinah's on.
Is there anyone else on public comment on Zoom?
Dinah's on there. I don't know if she wants to say anything.
No comments. No comments for me. All's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing there's no other public comment, just reiterate, next month's meeting is going to be Monday, November 7th. Here, instead of Tuesday, it'll be on Monday with the elections.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion to adjourn. Meeting is adjourned.